Could you guys, as an offense, have drawn it up any better than it went in the preseason? 30 points every game?
Probably not, honestly. It went about as well as it could go.
Especially with you having grown up with one quarterback here, but to see what a rookie quarterback came in and did in the preseason, what do you think of Jackson?
Yeah, he did a great job. You know, he learned fast, came on fast, played well fast, operated well in every game he played in, stayed away from mistakes pretty much altogether. Yeah, stayed away from any mistakes. So, you know, he played about as clean as you can play it.
When you play for a team and they draft a quarterback like that and draft him early, I mean, do you go back and watch any film yourself with Jackson to see what you could potentially be working with? Do you wait until you see him here on the field? Like, what's your process? And then now that camp, everything's over, I mean, did your thought change of him at all when you get to this point?
No, I didn't go back and watch anything of him. I mean, I watched college football, so I had seen, you know, a couple of missed games or seen him play here and there. But no, for the most part, I try to just base my first opinion off of what I see, you know, when we get out here, because ultimately, like, you know, but I feel like, you know, college is different than the NFL. So, you know, I try to wait and say my first opinions for, you know, when they first get out here. But he's definitely been impressive so far.
And what was your first opinion?
I feel like at first, you know, it's kind of impossible to show up day one and know everything. So it's kind of like, you know, you look for like flashes. You know, I think he made some throws pretty early on where it was like, all right, like he's got a gun, or wow, he has an arm on him. So, you know, I think that was kind of the first thing that flashed to me.
You've talked candidly before about how hard this offense is to learn, or how hard it is to like grasp fully, complete. And you know, Malik Neighbors in his second year.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that growth from him? And if he was only operating knowing some of the offense, what could it be now in year two?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely done a good job of learning. But, I mean, I think he's grown probably mostly in ways that are outside the game. You know, like I think he's grown a lot in his routine and, you know, his habits, you know, trying to lead, you know, when he can. You know, I think he's grown a lot in those areas, which are some of the most important ones.
Darius, you've talked all along from the beginning of when Russ was getting here, and you know the deep ball. We've asked you time and again the idea of what it means. I'm just curious for someone now. You've spent a lot of time with him off the field, on the field. Is there anything you learned that maybe you didn't know, and what you wanted to know about him going into the season?
Is there anything
that maybe you didn't know? You saw a lot of things. You knew him from afar, obviously. But is there anything that you learned over the last couple of months that now going into the season, you're like, you know what, I didn't know that about him, but that matters to me?
I think he's disgustingly consistent. Like, he's so consistent, like it's almost nasty. It's like, how is this possible? But I think that's probably the number one thing. You know, you see somebody from afar, and, you know, I feel like he's always had this persona of being a positive person. But, you know, I feel like there's a lot of people that just have a good day on camera, and that's kind of the perception we all walk away from them with. But, you know, at some point, like every day at 7 a.m., somebody's smiling and tell you good morning. It's like you're just wired this way. So, you know, and I think that carries over into the way he plays football and why he's so consistent with his throws and his accuracy and things like that. I think that's just his life. He's just a consistent human being.
Can you describe what it's like to see and catch a moon ball? Like compared to other deep balls?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say it's like catching a beach ball. You know, it feels like you can't miss because it's wherever you're running, it feels like the ball it doesn't feel like you're running to the ball. It feels like the ball's flying to you. If that makes sense. You just run it kind of right there, so it's pretty nice.
Obviously a lot of experience with Tommy. Just can you mention what it's been like playing with him and what he means to you and this team?
Yeah, it's been awesome. You know, I kind of feel like I've been like in a cameo of like The Sopranos or, you know, something like that, you know. But it's been awesome, you know, to have him around, be able to see a local kid, a local Jersey kid, the community rally around him and him be able to have the success that he's had here. And you know, it's been awesome to witness somebody in real time get that type of opportunity, you know, where they're from.
Guys have said, back to Russell just a little bit, the idea that, you know, that Jalen talked about, you know, he gets a text from Russ every day about you know, motivation and that kind of thing. You know, a couple other guys. Anything between you guys that you can share that, you know, he's taken to you, that's kind of your thing as far as, you know, getting ready to go for the season?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't, nothing in specific I can think of, but it's always just encouragement. It's always encouragement. And I feel like, he has his little buzzes for whoever he's talking to, so something he might say to me would probably be different than Jalen, different than Malik, Wandale, whatever have you. But it's always something, again, like I said, like just a very positive person. So something, encouraging, something to kind of jumpstart your day or maybe to pick you up if you've had a bad day.
You've got a chance to see the secondary with Adilo and Holland. Like, what if they brought to the secondary when you're going against them? Now, have you seen the different level of intensity?
Yeah, I think Holland's brought great range. He gets sideline to sideline, gets down, he tackles. I feel like he's kind of everything you would want in a safety type of deal. And Adebo is, kind of a little bit of your modern, press man-to-man corner. I feel like a little bit bigger guy, does well at the line. So I think the addition of both of them would be good for our secondary.
Take a few more.
I know you've talked about it before, but you personally, you individually,
yeah.
We've seen you here from the beginning and what it represents. I would imagine this is a different chapter now. You're signed off the off season. You're here. This is your home.
Yeah.
What are your goals right now? I mean, are you feeling any differently going into this season as opposed to the last couple of years where there has been a little bit of uncertainty, even if it's from the outside?
Yeah, I think right now goal number one is to try to build off this offensive momentum. Hopefully if we can build off this offensive momentum and score like we scored in the preseason, I think we all know like what our defensive front's going to be able to do if we can get ahead in games, and something like that, is motivating. But I also feel like, we're very capable. We have a very good receiver room. We have 4 good quarterbacks. Our offensive line is playing the best that they've played since I've been here, both in the run and the pass. So, I think that, it's at that point now where we have to go and do it. I think we've got the tools, we got the pieces, and it's so far been pretty good, as far as just the preseason goes, but it's time to roll that into the regular season.
Are you a guy, and we've seen you all along, it's almost like do you get to a point where you don't want to talk about all the things that are going well because you've been here when you think things are going well?
For sure.
Do you pinch yourself? Do you say, all right, let's not get too excited. Let's get out there and roll it out week 1 and see what happens?
Yeah, I think it's important to roll off the positivity, to use that positivity, but also at the same time understand that, real football's coming, the regular season's coming, and still preparing like it did all go bad. I think is the idea is using the positivity as fuel, but preparing as if it went terribly and that we got to get it together and we got to start fast. So, that's the mentality I'll take.